Today we're addressing the new synopsis for Captain America New World Order, and of course, it has some mutant implications. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I'm your host, Chris, and Captain America New World Order is kind of taking up an interesting corner of the MCU market. It is very clearly connecting itself to the Thunderbolts, and we're going to dive into some of the reasons why and what that means for the MCU moving forward in today's video. But first, we want to go over this new synopsis that we have that gives us some pretty awesome details. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our other major movie and television news updates happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. If you'd like to check those out, links to both of those can be found in the description down below. Alright, Captain America, New World Order, here's the synopsis we have. Captain America New World Order will follow an international conflict over a new metal called adamantium, discovered on Tiamat, the celestial of the Eternals, which is now an island. Each country wants a piece of that new metal and claim the island as its own. Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is now president, is the movie villain who wants to reclaim the island and the adamantium at all costs, and Sam Wilson's Captain America gets in his way by trying to stop him, by assembling a new group of heroes, including the new Falcon, to oppose. Captain America will be fighting some other villains who are also trying to get their hands on adamantium. So from a few different plot leaks that we were aware of and that we've gone over here on the channel even, we had a generalized idea of exactly this synopsis. We've been talking about Tiamat, the leftover celestial from the Eternals movie, and how somehow this was going to contain adamantium and a bunch of different governments fighting over who it belongs to. This was made clear in the synopsis, very clear in fact. What was new information is Captain America, Sam Wilson's Captain America, getting in the way of the American president, who is now Thunderbolt Ross, played by Harrison Ford, in case you hadn't heard that news, assembling a new team, quote unquote, in order to kind of oppose the views of Thunderbolt Ross. Now, we know several things about Thunderbolt Ross, and if you're a comic book reader at all, the biggest no-brainer is that's Red Hulk. We also know Thunderbolt Ross is obsessed with Super Soldier Serum. He wants it. He's been wanting it. All of his power in the government has been used to developing it, redeveloping, creating it, and getting control of some Super Soldier Serum. We've seen in the MCU and in the comics that he's tried to control the Avengers by creating things like the Sokovia Accords and minimizing what the Avengers were able to do on their own without governmental help. Well, in this specifically, we're seeing Captain America go against the US government, which is in true Rogers form, but Sam Wilson will now be taking the lead as Captain America. It sounds like, from this synopsis, he will also be recruiting Falcon, who we did meet in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. But who else is joining this new team, and what is this new team? My immediate assumption is this is going to be the new Avengers. This is not going to be the Thunderbolts, because the Thunderbolts are going to be Thunderbolt Ross's team. This is a team to oppose that team and Thunderbolt Ross's desires and what he's trying to accomplish with the adamantium, probably with some Super Soldier Serum and other crooked government stuff. This has to be the new Avengers. It's very unlikely that Sam Wilson will be putting together the young Avengers. That's going to be a whole different storyline, maybe somewhere more with Hawkeye and the West Coast Avengers, everything going on over there. But this might be the beginning of the new Avengers. Now, we know Bucky's actually going to be on the Thunderbolt side of things, which puts friend against friend, and will overall create a really fun contrast within the superhero community. Based off this synopsis, however, we are aware that one of the biggest conflict points right now in the world global governments is going to be this new metal adamantium. For those of you unaware, which I know won't be many, adamantium is the same metal inside Wolverine. His claws are made out of adamantium eventually. They originally start off as bone and they become adamantium, and his entire skeleton is actually eventually fused with adamantium, which makes the existence of an island full of adamantium very, very mutant driven. Obviously, we're still waiting for the mutants to enter the MCU. We've gotten a few teases from Ms. Marvel, from Namor, And we know that we're going to be getting some of the Fox mutants during Secret Wars from other multiverses and other universes, but regardless, they'll be there. But the big, full start of the MCU mutants is still a little bit hush-hush in a lull. And I don't think we're going to be seeing this mutant action, this X-Men action, until after Secret Wars, possibly even in part of the new saga. Maybe we'll call it the X-Men or the Mutant Saga. But there are going to start being whispers, hummings, hints, Easter eggs of these mutants, and an entire island of adamantium is definitely a good place to start. Now, back when this was a rumor, we spoke about it on the channel, about adamantium being an island that is existing from the Celestial. And several of the top comments were talking about how adamantium is supposed to be very rare and manufactured. It isn't something from nature, which I guess coming out of the Celestial you would consider it is. I don't think that this synopsis goes very deep into detail as to how the adamantium is acquired. It's possible you might have to mix it with vibranium in order to create adamantium. I don't think it's walk up, pluck off a finger, and now you have a brick of adamantium. I'm sure there's a lot more science and specificity that goes into the creation of that adamantium, but you have to have it in order to move forward with the creation of that metal. So that'll be an interesting part of the conflict, as well as the scarcity. I do think that that's going to be a major part. It's possible that a specific organ or just the skull or who knows what becomes that metal. Also, just a little side note, just because it popped in my head, we have to remember the skull of a Celestial, which is nowhere, is now owned by the Guardians of the Galaxy. We learned that in the holiday special that came out just last year, and that could have some adamantium application as well if they've discovered the same value of the metal or have access to whatever part of the Celestial creates that adamantium. They might be a source for our heroes to have and create and use adamantium. Just a little side thought that I think might have value depending on how desperate our heroes end up being for the adamantium, and if any of that is available in the skull of that Celestial over on Nowhere. Something to keep in mind. I do think the latter half of Phase 5, which has the Thunderbolts, has Captain America New World Order, the establishment of new teams, new Avengers, new heroes, mantles being passed on to a new Falcon, a new Captain America. It's overall going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. I know there's a lot of talk about the MCU is boring and it's fallen off, and Ant-Man didn't do super great in the box office, but I really do truly think we're getting to a prime time part of the MCU, and we're gonna have some really exciting stuff coming up. And the storyline that is being created here, although maybe a little murky and clouded in mystery, I think that's ultimately going to lead to a very, very fun movie, and the Thunderbolts connects directly to it. So I can't wait for those and for more information to come out. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. What are you most excited for that will come up in Captain America New World Order or the Thunderbolts as well? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching to the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell. And I'll catch all you guys in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.